Hi everyone, welcome back to today's video. Today we're going to look at the extended 30-day forecast that will take us through the rest of July and throughout August as well. We're going to have a look at all of the ECM ensembles and how this happens, and we're also going to look at the CMS as well on pressure patterns, precipitation and temperature for the next 30 days, perhaps even to 46-day forecast. Later today I'm going to be doing the normal forecast, the 10-day forecast basically, where we usually obviously look at the net weather, we look at the UKV and GFS, ECM and Met Office ensembles. So I'm going to get that into you at 4 o'clock today. But I'm going to do this one as well, so I'll be doing this every Monday for the extended range forecast that will take us up to So firstly, let's have a look at the nowcast. This is the live representations for the conditions now. Here are the temperatures that we have now. So we have got a northeasterly, quite a brisk northeasterly breeze that is bringing the wind in from some moisture off the North Sea. That is bringing a blanket of cloud around. That's just broken now, actually. However, that does supply some cooler weather, cooler morning. Most areas in Yorkshire in the mid to high teens, 17 degrees in Bridlington, 14 degrees in the North York Moors. As we go further east, it's a lot cooler as well, 15 degrees where that North Sea breeze is. So where you're closest to it, you're a lot cooler still, with some more moisture coming off the North Sea as well. A bit misty and murky there. As we get further to the south, though, we can see the temperatures just start to recover a little bit. As we go into London, 18 degrees there in London already, about 19 now. So about 20. See, the highest temperatures is in this area of England, which is in Cornwall. We've already recorded low 20s, so quite a warm morning for them, where obviously they're well away from the North Sea breeze. Still quite cool, actually, around 15 degrees. As our average temperature for the morning. If we do have a look at the weather symbols again, we can see what's happening really. It's a bit quite breezy, at times a bit murky at some hills as well, but mostly cloudy with some sunny intervals that will break through as we go on for today. And if we have a look at the humidity is slowly dropping. We're at 70s in the north, 60s there. But let's have a look. As we go into the warmer weather, the humidity starts to decrease as well, so it's going to be another quite dry day, actually, not very humid. That's kind of why we've got all these wildfires, which I'm going to show you in a minute what this news report was, which was quite bad. But again, we're around 70s and that's going to have to drop. Dew points are quite low really, around the low teens, and that's going to continue to drop. I think the highest will be 14 degrees, which is obviously meaning that's the amount of relative humidity in the air that needs to drop to film dew on the air. So again, no dew point, no relative humidity at the moment. Look at the wind gusts, it's quite brisk really. Some of these weather stations are not working, I don't know why, but you can see some areas. I'll put the wind speeds on. Wind speeds around 10-15 mile per hour winds. So as you go further east, it's a bit more brisk, 15 mile per hour wind there. As we go to southwest, it's a little bit windier there, 28 mile per hour wind gusts there, wow. But around 20 mile per hour winds to the north, east, 29 there. The gusts are around 40 mile per hour winds, 36 mile per hour winds in Exmoor National Park in Liscombe. And the highest gust at the moment is 39 per hour winds, and that is in the Isles of Portland. Okay, so now let's have a look at the Met Office mean central temperatures, which is the mean temps for the month. You can see for July we're at the CT of 20.5, which is provisional to. Is that not going to update? It should be updating by now, but I don't know why. But otherwise, we've got 20.5 as our CT or CET. We are 4.5 degrees above the mean average for July, which is obviously 16 degrees. That should drop because it's going to get a little bit. I'm not going to say cool. It's just going to get returned to average and a bit above average. We're just going to leave the heat wave criteria for now. So I expect that to go back to like 19 or 18 at the end of the month, which is still quite above average actually. So this is basically the trend of what it's showing. The average line is I think that's the red line, I think. We're at the purple line. We're well above average at the moment. That's the central mean temperature of nearly 28 Celsius, which is quite a lot. Okay, so now let's have a look at the seasonal weather now. This is the 46-day forecast. This will accompany the average temperature, pressure, and precipitation anomalies. So, from the period of 30th of July to 20th, we've got higher than average temperatures at, let me just check, I think this is 2 metre temperatures, so higher than average 2 metre temperatures. We are lingering, and especially in the southwestern areas, we are well above average, and locally heatwave thresholds as well. Okay, I don't know why it's not doing that. Let me move over to this one. Okay, so this is this next week again. We've still firmly got higher than average temperatures, especially in the continent. Still lingering at least around 4 to 5 degrees above average, especially in the southwest again. So no real signs of a cool down really to below average temperatures. The 27th to the 3rd of August, still well above average to the south. Maybe a bit more neutral as we go to the northwest, so a bit more to the average, but still lingering in that pattern of above averageness. Oh dear, let me do that again. I don't know why it's done that. Yeah. Okay, so this was this one, isn't it? Okay. 3rd of August to the 10th of August, still above average, firmly above average actually, especially in the south. Once again, we are continuing with the we are continuing with the hot July so far. Above average July, we're still in an above average air mass on the continent. It's gradually getting less intense, but still could be quite above average there. But a lot more average in Northern Ireland, and Scotland will be more neutral. The 10th to the 17th of August, still well above average again. I wouldn't be surprised to see a local heat wave at that time, really, if we get this persisting at some point in early August, in my opinion. We're still average in Scotland, though. Finally, this is the 17th to the 24th of August. Recedes a little bit, actually, getting more towards average in most of England. Still above average, though, in southern England. This is the... what is this? Oh, it's not even loading. Shoot. Okay, so this is the mean pressure anomalies for August. So this is the most... not pressure. This is the 2 metre temperatures, so the most likely category of the 2 metre temperatures. You can see we're well above average, 67% above the average line. We are cooler than average in the Atlantic, though, but that will not really make its way until, obviously, as we get latest into the season. But we are above average for the whole of August. That will be a mean average. So, highly expecting August to be 1 to 2 degrees above average, and that's the mean. So, probably about, our CT could be about 17, 18, 19 degrees, most likely. I'm going to quickly look at September. Still, September will be a warmer than average month, and more average to the northwest. October, again gets a bit above average, really. Not much a bit more neutral patterns going to the northwest. November could be quite, again, a bit mild, probably going to be unsettled as you would expect, unfortunately, due to developing El Nino. I will have a look at that later, but still a bit more average to the northwest, actually, perhaps even below average, but still above average in the south. So that's some indications and a bit of a peek into autumn if you wanted to know about that. I don't want to know about autumn at the moment. I'm not interested in that yet. Let's go into the here now. Okay, so this is the... Just try that again. It's not going to do anything. Let me just see if I can just delete these. Maybe that will help it. Doesn't want to do it yet. I don't know why. May have to cut out the video for a second, actually. Okay, I don't know why, but it does not want to load. I'm going to just reset it one more time. Okay, I really don't know what's wrong with it. That's not good, because that's got the main content on it. That's the temperatures again. Oh, it's starting to do something now. Oh, come on. I don't really have time to do this. Okay. Just better. May have to cut out the video because if it keeps doing this. Oh, I don't know. Okay, so let me just reset this now. So about that, it wasn't working. Right, this is the mean sea level pressure anomaly. So between the 13th and 20th, we have higher than average pressure to the north. That's standing between Scotland and Iceland. We've got low pressure to the south. Apprehensive that's going to move in. It could move in very briefly in the south, but it's very looking at the signals really for next week, it does not look like it's going to do too much progress actually. So you know, it could bring some thundery downpours at times, but unfortunately, I think that is kind of decreasing as we look at the ensembles. It's more likely to be the week after that actually, so we may have to wait a little bit. But otherwise, still higher than average pressure and low pressures to the south. We still have winds coming in from the east or northeasterly direction. Still supplying a northeasterly some northeast moisture and some northeast cloud on the coast. This is the 20th to the 27th. Again, high pressure firmly in control, but it does start to weaken a little bit. So this could mean we could get a trough forming in the south. We could get more from, I wouldn't say Atlantic, but probably more showery theme between the 20th and 27th. Very gradually though. So we could see a trough there, a bit of a neutral pattern at the south, so we could see some more changeable conditions there. With low pressure to the south, that could perhaps budge in at times in the far southwest, maybe even more. But the high pressure, just that's is still dominating in the Atlantic as well, blocking patterns from there. If we do have a look at 27th and the 3rd, high pressure is broken down, and we have now got low pressure to the north and a neutral pattern. That could be a trough forming there. Winds from the southwest, I think, isn't it? We've still got high pressure though to the south. Could be bring in signs, but it could be quite, I wouldn't say cool really. I think it'll be more average and a bit more unsettled, but probably won't be anything too not like a washout at all actually. Probably more like much needed rainfall. So low pressure will be hanging around, bringing more of an unsettled, changeable theme at the end of July. Oops, there we go. And a quite similar theme to August, if not more neutral than any low pressure though. Still got a bit of a trough forming though. Could be a bit changeable there. Winds from southwest. Could be still quite warm though. Definitely won't be below average, above average most likely. We've got a low pressure. It's more like low pressure troughs, which will bring more changeable conditions from the Atlantic most likely, rather than a full Atlantic regime. As we go throughout August, the high pressure does actually start to build in again in mid-August. So this is high pressure to the far north, low pressures to the south. Could be quite a thundery theme there, but the trough is still forming there, but high pressures are now starting to dominate again at the north. So could see some above average heights there. And as we go into the end of August, well, mid to end of August, high pressure is firmly in control once again, and low pressures to the north as well. More of a trough forming, a bit of a thundery trough. So looking like, for the start of August, it will be below average pressure, more like a neutral pattern than anything actually, than anything unsettled or settled, let's say, more in between, if you know what I mean. So it could be quite changeable, could be showery, could be thundery, maybe long spells of rain, and it could still be above average as well. But as we go in for the mid of August, high pressure is building again, and it could be more room for more heat waves as we get more of like a southwesterly direction there from the continent. So southwesterly flow bringing heat waves. Probably could be our heat wave 5 then, if we don't have one already at the end of July, because you can see here as we go into the end of July we could still see some heat waves between the 27th and the 3rd. Oh no, that one between next week. So that could be heat wave 4 or 5 there on August. So we'll have to see what happens there. Okay, so now let's have a look. This was supposed to be I think this is precipitation or something. Let's have a look at this. If this ever loads, come on. Okay, so this is the pressure at 500 HPA. Well, basically high up in the atmosphere. You can see between the 13th and 20th, we've got a very firm high pressure between Scotland and England, which is bringing up like a ridge, which is blocking any Atlantic rangings, basically. You can see there's still a thundery trough there in the south, which probably won't make much progress throughout the week. That's going to bring winds in. I think that's northeast again, more easterly winds, isn't it? So that's higher than average pressure, basically, at 500 HPA. Still going to be quite dry, isn't it? This is between the 20th and 27th. Still, the ECM is ridging with high pressure in the Atlantic and England, blocking any Atlantic patterns, basically. So quite a dry theme still, with higher than average pressure at 500 HPA. Low pressures lingering to the south. Could tap in at times. Well, we'll see. 27th to the 3rd, again, pressure does start to break down a little bit. High pressure still to the south. That could actually try to push back in if we don't get the neutral pattern. Not much signals for anything, actually. It's more of like a neutral pattern, really. But I think it could be like probably like a changeable outlook, most likely. We could have high pressure trying to ridge in from the south. Atlantic tries to bring in some long spells of rain and showers, but I don't think it can make too much progress, really. But still could be quite a neutral, changeable pattern. Bit of uncertainty about that, actually. But still going to be quite dry in some areas, especially in the southeast where that emissions of high pressure is. As we go throughout into August, we've got that high pressure building in again in England. Not as much as a ridge, though. It's more centred towards Europe. We've still got some neutral patterns going on to the Atlantic. That's setting up a southeasterly pattern if that had to come on. And that's above average. So that's quite hot. Then towards 10th and 17th, high pressure then is firmly in control once again. It's starting off a ridge in the north, and that's into England as well, with some troughs forming in the south. But that's not going to make too much progress once again. But could obviously see some thundery interruptions, a bit changeable at times. But that's more likely at the end of July, really. Then an unsettled pattern, if you know what I mean. And then finally, into the 17th and 24th, once again, high pressure ridging into the Atlantic and England. And a thundery trough at the south that could bring in at times. Once again, higher than average pressure, not much precipitation anomalies at the moment, and higher than average temperatures. I'd say the only hope for precipitation at the moment is the very, very end of July and the early August, and I think then after that, high pressure is going to build in again with more heat waves, unfortunately. But if that didn't happen, that's my idea, really. Okay, so this is the precipitation weekly mean anomalies. So the grey line is the below average anomaly. Okay, finally got it up, gosh. So this is the week precipitation anomalies. Between the 30th and the 20th, the majority of England is precipitation is below average, basically. So drier than average and quite arid, really. It does suggest it be more neutral as we go further south, but I think that's because we've got thundery showers flirting with the south there. You can see, though, on the other screen, France, northern France is actually wetter than average by this period because we've got an increase of thunderstorms, as I think you may have noticed, which is likely. But that may not reach England enough, unfortunately. Between the 25th and 27th, we again drier than average with not much precipitation at all, really. We are still continuing with this that's hot and sunny weather with not much rain at all, really. Slightly less arid, really, than the previous model, but could be more showers there as we go along. And as we do go into the next week, we do have some more precipitation signs coming, especially at western areas. Some of it kind of breaks out of this drought, hopefully at the end of July. Higher than average precipitation in the west may not even reach England, but it will be a lot less, let's say, dry. And as we go into August, it could still be quite dry, actually. I think the dry theme is now starting to come back. We may have like a brief unsettled spell at the end of July, as suggested, with some higher average precipitation, but it may return to drought conditions as we go in. So, drier than average conditions in the Midlands, but average elsewhere. The 10th and 17th, we've got drier than average weather, or less, drier than average precipitation in northwest Scotland. Neutral pattern in majority England with some dry spots there. And as we go into the rest of August, we have now got that firm, dry theme continuing. So drier than average precipitation still likely, especially in the western areas unusually. So this most likely high pressure will be centred to the Atlantic, where probably the Azores high most likely, which would be running heat. Still not great signs of precipitation at all, unless obviously the end of July, which we could see more of a break. But that's not going to last long at all. According to the ECM, which is, it is a European one, which is quite accurate, as you should know. Again, if that verifies, then I think it will happen, actually. If that had to. Okay, so now let's have a look at the CFS. You can see for August, you can see higher than average temperatures likely throughout August. We are on the isotherm above 850 HPA. So that means we're going to have higher than average temperatures, higher than average pressure, lower than average precipitation as we're going through that August. Okay, finally finished. That took ages, really. Some timing. Please make sure you subscribe and like. I'll post this on my Facebook, like I said. Thank you for following that as well. Thank you so much for doing that. So, later today at 4 o'clock, I'll be posting the normal 10-day forecast with the GFS, ECM, Meteophysio, and UKV, and the night weather, as usual, along with that. So, I'll do that for you as well. So, probably do this every week. This 46-day forecast or 30-day forecast, just to get everything verified. So, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.